World War III will never be if the society of the perfect is a perfect society. Universal peace now. Universal peace with Jim Doe. Greetings superior beings, greetings supreme being. Welcome to Universal Peace to Justin. It's Universal Peace of Jim Doe. The pedo-perps, such as Adolfo Nicholas, the pedo-perps under Adolfo Nicholas, are inducing cancer in my body. In reality, they've tortured my mother to death. Another thing they control is if you look at a picture of someone, then they can make it nod yes and no, basically, make you think that it's nodding. And it's the quantum computer controlling your brain wave. And it sends ideas in your own inner voice with synthetictelepathy.com. That's explained in the Malech patent. And silent sound, that's explained in the Neurophone patent, Neurophone available online, to send messages in the skull of the victims that only the victims can hear. So that's one of the favorite ways of satanic ritual abuse. And how do you know it's satanic ritual abuse? Because the psychiatrists are used to round up anybody that claims to have been attacked with one of those directed energy weapons, with HAARP in reality. And then they give them a false idea that it's done with satellites or other things that are not used in reality. And they're labeled paranoid schizophrenics or psychotic people, according to the DSM-4 statistical manual of the shrinks, which are not psychiatrists anymore. They're not helping anybody. They're only used to eliminate people with chemical cancer-causing drugs, and chemical drugs always have a synergistic effect with cancer-causing electromagnetic radiation, according to Dr. Cyril Smith. So that means that it's best to deny it anyway. They're even controlling your parents and your family members, and they're trying to play you out against each other, especially if you know about the planned world war. The fact that Netanyahu has claimed he wants to preempt against Iran in reality to create his Jesuit Masters World War. And of course Adolfo Nicholas is doing that together with King Juan Carlos, according to another video. These are the people that are making the World War, so you would have to kill them to end the World War. These are the people that are going to kill you all, 99% of the world's population. Ted Turner book quote on universalpeace.jimdo.com to create a satanic new world order. Universal peace now. universalpeace.jimdo.com. The pedo-perps that have tortured my mother to death with HAARP are making me feel tired and they're burning my scrotum. They're making me feel tired with a loud ringing in the head, and Peter Annette or Kevin Annette has not mailed me back with the contact in Lelystad, he promised. KevinAnnette.com. And I did respond again. So I can check out if he was nominated for a Nobel or get one. Nobel Prize nominee. Nobel Peace Prize. So, because Obama is maintaining the wars, they think, the conspiracy theories think, that is why Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Peace Prize is run by the Nazis, basically. It was created by Nazis and stuff. That's what I've heard them say. And, well, I don't even care if it's true, basically. Because some people don't realize that the psychobamatral has not legalized cannabis, he has granted legal immunity to a company that shipped out deadly products 3 times, Baxter, instead of a bona fide pharmaceutical company. And of course, Monsanto, food as a weapon, DDT in Agent Orange, and cancer-causing barium aluminum-resistant seed, so that the farmers cannot produce the crops anymore unless they buy Monsanto's aluminum-resistant seed. That is why they're dispersing the Ebola chemtrail fallout. It's one of the reasons, which contain man-made viruses which are absorbed by the skin. So walking in the rain without a rain cap and stuff, it's simply not a good idea, and they've forbidden collecting rainwater because they don't want you to find out that they're transgressing the limits of cancer-causing barium, and they want it in your system to be able to control you with synthetic telepathy. But I think the developments in Iran show that the people might have more power than the people that want to create a world war want to accept. They have several groups, UN and lots of other groups. And of course they have a lot of power now with the UDHR, and of course some would think they are controlled by the Freemasons, the Satanists, and partially that's true, but most of them are not controlled by them because they have families and they don't want their children to die. They realize that scalar weapons are real, and that's the main thing that prevents a world war, because they need a Tesla plasma dome of Nikola Tesla to survive, and most people simply don't have one, so that's why those people are smart enough to prevent a world war if they can. The people in underground cities might be the only ones that would make one, and the other group is a group of people that don't understand that we eliminated it, and they've never heard of the concept of mutually assured destruction, and they don't know what they're talking about. They're just influenced by their opinion and perhaps by brain control or whatever. So May 8, 2013, Reverend Kevin Annett is nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for immediate release. So all the mistakes that I make are made by Satanists with synthetic telepathy. They are entraining my brain with a loud ringing in the head for that, because I've practiced my speech capabilities daily to be able to make no mistakes. And the entrainment is so severe that if I turn my head around in circles, then I hear clicking sounds in my brain because of the entrainment, which can be felt even with my hands. They've also been attempting to murder me with attacks to the brain, which they do when I lie on the left side in my bed. So those scalar waves made with HAARP travel through all materials known to man, and it's time people start making a scalar detector and a device to make their legal voice to skull messages audible, to catch the creeps, the trolls with HAARP that have tortured my mother to death. That's what I'm about, creating universal peace. And without a world war, there are still other ways they might use to depopulate the Earth. For example, with HAARP, they can create a solar storm. They are able to disperse Ebola in the chemtrails. That's Professor Pianka's favorite depopulation method. Pianka with a P from Pope. And other one was CNN. Ted Turner of CNN. A 99% population reduction. I'd have to check how he would do that, basically, what's his favorite method. But okay, starvation, and it's Dr. Kissinger's favorite method, which could follow quarantine after dispersing Ebola chemtrail fallout and or a solar storm, because the water pumps are electric in reality. So if there would be a solar storm, which could be also made with HAARP according to the Dr. Eastland patent, then there are no ground resistors, which is a cheap solution to that problem that would prevent everybody from running out of water. But okay, if the water is still there in the water tower, then the question is, how do they get it in the water tower? Is that also electrical? And I think they could fix that problem probably quite fast. Another question is if they would, of course, but it's their duty, so yeah, otherwise the citizens can open a case against the state. And if there are lives at stake, then you could equate it to murder basically if they don't take the action they're supposed to take. So whatever, if the pumps are electrical, then they're broken after the solar storm, and I don't know if they can replace them or if that would take years to replace all those pumps worldwide. So that means they might not have water for a couple of years. Kevin Annett Nobel Peace Prize nominee. For immediate release, Kevin Annett is nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize May 8th, New York City, 5/8/2013. Reverend Kevin Annett has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize by a group of American and Canadian academicians. Academicians. I thought it was academians, like macadamias. It was learned today. Annett is currently on an extended speaking tour in Holland, France, Italy and other countries. Reverend Annett has made history since 1996 with his meticulous exposure of church and state-sponsored genocide of indigenous children in Canada's Indian residential school system. Annett produced the first documented evidence of massive deaths in the schools and helped force official recognition and an apology from the Government of Canada in 2008. Reverend Annett has been honored and adopted by Aboriginal nations in Canada over the past 15 years and has helped immeasurable numbers of residential school survivors at a great personal cost, in recognition of which he was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize by a group of North American scholars. Without Kevin Annett, there would have been no healing and no justice for any of us survivors of this genocide. He has put us on the map, stated Ojibwe Nation Elder Louis Daniels in October of 2004 when he adopted Annett Info, his tribe, and gave him the name Eagle Strong Voice. The Nobel Committee in Oslo, which may itself name candidates. I first want to say, before they erase it, that Kevin Annett wrote back and that there are loads of people that claim to have been attacked with directed energy weapons. And I can read you the emails, also perhaps I'll do a broadcast about it. Usually I use this recording, the MP3 recorder, just to basically log things that are happening, for example the burning of my scrotum and things like that. So I'm now looking into Kevin Annett basically. The question was whether he is one of them. If it's a reverend, then he might be a Protestant Christian. I I don't know if he's Protestant or Catholic. If he's Catholic, then he probably won't help me. The Catholics have sworn to kill all Protestant Christians, like my mother. And well, I've exposed the Jesuits quite a bit, although you could argue other people have exposed them, because I've merely copied what they wrote, and I've also given the links, the sources basically. But I think the cannibalism, concordates with Hitler and the pedopsycho Muslims, the torture devices on YouTube, and they're famous for the pedophilia, make clear that they have a satanic inner core, which is also described, and that they want a world war to create a satanic new world order is also known by millions of people. It's not something that I made up or that they have to find on my website to wake up, basically. Which is a term they use which has to do with their suicide programming. People are tortured in the morning when they wake up and probably that has to do with suicide programming, so they do it in the morning when they wake up so that they don't want to live anymore. It's very interesting. But of course it doesn't work. It is not effective on us because of the hypnosis. And they want to die instead because they've done this to us, and they are criminals that have demolished the WTC to create a planned Third World War. They're taking my throat, so that's all part of their satanic ritual abuse, their sick attempts to mislead people and to kill 99% of the world's global population. And their book quotes proving this are on universalpeace.jimdo.com. They have tortured my mother to death with HAARP, and I have determined the direction of the beam, and because these things are true, they are not able to kill me, and probably soon they are arrested for the things they have done already. So I hope you catch that creep that is torturing me, and I wonder why Kevin Annett has not written back, which he promised to do, about a contact in Lelystad. I can easily access my mail, but first we read the rest of the article on yellowbrickroadtour.net. The Nobel Committee in Oslo, which may itself name candidates, does not reveal nominees or those who endorse them for a period of 50 years, nor does it offer comment, although contenders are sometimes named or speculated over by the media and other sources. They make that sound by controlling muscle movement, and to do that they have to lock in on my brainstem. So I think they're going to kill all of you in reality, which is clear from their official documents like the ECO 92 report, which makes clear they are going to depopulate the earth by any means necessary. And it's possible you already have their eggs in your body, and GMO is used to sterilize you all, and the sperm count has dropped severely in the US and all over the planet because of the cancer-causing barium, fluoride, and of course GMO food is a weapon, and other soft and slow kill methods of the cancer Bilderberg trolls that have tortured my mother to death with HAARP under the Jesuit pedophiles, so those Satanists and all those groups, Knights of Blah Blah, and Freemasons such as Breivik, which worship Satan, Lucifer, Satan equals Lucifer, according to what we read online, which are fictional deities, which are used to depopulate the earth, basically to make people do things they don't want to do, things they cannot get out of. And all the other groups, Bilderberg, CFR Trilateral Commission, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the Freemasons, the Jesuits, and all the others, Knights of Blah Blah, together are less than 1% of the world's global population, and they convene behind closed doors to depopulate the earth, which they call population control, and they've redubbed their New World Order, their Third, Fourth Reich, the Third World, they've redubbed that the global government, which is essentially still the same thing. And it is endorsed by the pedo Vatican people. They endorse a New World Order, so they are called New World Order conspiracy theorists, according to what we read on Wikipedia, the CIA, Vatican edited encyclopedia. Because they want to call the people that think there is a New World Order conspiracy theorists, they have to call the New World Order idea conspiracy theory until after the World War. So the idea is they use problem, reaction, solution. Their military order first and foremost, not a religious order they pretend to be. And they have planned another world war to depopulate the earth and to be able to say never again, to create a new world order to prevent another fourth world war. Reverend Annette presently, so they have no intention to create a new world order before the Third World War and their planned genocide. That's the idea. Reverend Annette presently serves as the field secretary for the International Tribunal into Crimes of Church and State. Their cannibalism is also documented on one-evil.org, so that might also be interesting. He has exposed the Jesuits, I think, for a part, but it can be controlled opposition. If he's nominated for a Nobel Prize, like the Saint-Obama troll, then of course, if you maintain the wars, then you are nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. That's the way it works. A complete interview with him will be posted shortly at worldwideweb.itccs.org. So that's the whole article read out. And they use hybrid insects, that's why they let me make the misspelling with HARP by controlling my brainwave, the left area of my brain. They make a loud ringing in the head to be able to let me say braid, which is the Dutch word for ass basically, because they're torturing me and my father to death with centipedes in our bodies, and their hybrid insects are real, which they deny, and that's why they go away. They cannot see that it's part of their upcoming genocide or world war, and that the people that lie for them are brain-controlled idiots as well, and they're helping to kill themselves for the New World Order, for the Earth, they pretend. So they're lying about that, which is clear from the fact that there are markings in my feces and in my father's feces which show the shape of the centipede clearly, and there are insect bites also on my father's arm, which I have photographed. So there's enough evidence for me to prove these insects are in my body and in my father's body, and the doctors know that, but they pretend that their nose is bleeding, that there are none in my body, and the name of the doctor is also Arnon Kater of the AMC hospital. So they are definitely lying through their teeth, and it's possible that the Rockefellers have paid them $1 million or whatever, because they want to kill me to be able to create the world war. So they're definitely torturing me and my father to death with centipedes, about which you can also see that video on YouTube, Centipedes in My Body, Please Help. And there you can see the feces photographed, and that cannot be caused by cancer or other things. They cannot be paraneoplastic effects or whatever. And that is clear from the shape of the centipedes in the feces and the yellow poison that smells of ammonia in my feces that was there at that time. At the moment that's not there anymore. So it is possible they're out of my body now. And the doctors have confirmed that with a CT scan, PET scan, colonoscopy and bronchoscopy, but I'm just warning never to sleep in a room with centipedes, and that they don't have a way to get them out of your body once they enter, which is called pseudoparasitism of mere apples in men. I've been checked, but millions of other people may have their eggs inside their bodies if they haven't done a parasite-free treatment. And then if the world war breaks out, and the idea is the centipedes clean the bodies up basically, because then they're not using endothermic mode or exothermic mode to freeze the people to death basically with their scalar weapons. ionospheric heaters are real, I think, such as HARP. QP weapons, whatever you call them, the death ray of Nikola Tesla, of course, they've stolen. Then they've killed Nikola with their time travel equipment and stuff. So they're trying to cut off other people from their inventions like synthetic telepathy to control the brain waves. And the neurophone, which you can also buy online to send people ideas in their own inner voice, in their skulls that they cannot hear outside of their skull. So that's how they're controlled by the Satanists, such as Michael Aquino of the NSA, with the brain control equipment. And they're given the false idea that God is doing it, or Satan, or aliens, to hide the people that are brain controlling and torturing people to death with HARP, like my mother. And they've killed billions of people already. So that's really on a global scale, a global genocide they are doing with HARP. And I think that they're using Kevin Annett and others to cover that up. That they're, well, he has written that there are other peoples that they try to change people into peoples, and then they think that I won't notice that, perhaps, to give the illusion that we're overpopulated. In reality, we're not overpopulated. Everybody would fit into Australia, have more than enough to eat, and their own piece of land if they divide the Earth's wealth equally among men. And I studied at the University of Amsterdam, so really all speech errors are made for fun by the Satanists in an attempt to humiliate me and to torture me because they're haters. They hate me as well as 99% of the world's population. And they consider the humans a cancer upon the earth. You can also watch the statements of Prince Philip and others. So those three people that I've mentioned are people with book quotes advocating a population reduction with 50 to 99%. If that's not genocidal and in violation of the Genocide Convention, incitement to commit genocide in the sense of Genocide Convention, then you are all going away, because then it's legal what they're doing now, and what they're going to do to you as well if you are above ground without a Tesla plasma dome. If you're not helping me to press charges against the people that have tortured my mother to death, then you're all going away. And probably your brain controlled, so you'll do it to yourselves. You do it to yourselves, you do. And a hypnosis cannot prevent that, because your brainwave is electromagnetic. So hypnosis cannot prevent that they control your muscle movements, they control your EMG, EKG and EEG with HARP. But we can always think of the opposite next idea. So the ideas they send in our own inner voice with the emotions they want us to have are not good enough to control us, because we can think of the opposite next idea ourselves. And if we don't let our emotions control us anymore, then we won't do anything stupid, which they may have done, for example, demolishing the WTC with thermite, a patented form of thermate, to create their Third World War, which lots of people are preventing. So with the new agreement they're working on with Iran, which might take another 3 weeks, then the only way that universal peace could be created is by ending all wars, basically. And universal peace could be created overnight if they use the quantum computers, synthetic telepathy, the scalar technology, the robots, to create universal peace rather than another world war. But the insane preemptive nuclear doctrine, in violation of the Prevention of Nuclear War Agreement, makes clear that China and Russia and the US can preempt any time they want to. And of course, Israel could also preempt on Iran, and then the question is if the US will shoot down Israeli planes to avoid a world war, an idea of Zbigniew Brzezinski, or if they will let the planes go through and bomb their nuclear facilities, which have been supplied with nuclear fuel, which contaminates Europe and Israel and that area, basically. It will even reach the US probably, like the depleted uranium of Iraq reached Aldermaston in England, so that also contaminated Europe. And that's why they have, also because of Fukushima, which may have been done by the Jesuits as well, they have altered the safety standards for radiation exposure to unsafe levels, which was also covered by Alex Jones. And at the moment they're hurting my genitalia to sterilize me, though I've said everything that's important on this recording as well. As millions of other people that are exposing them and helping to save their own families and themselves by preventing world war and creating universal peace by any means necessary. And that's what the states should do, so the taxpayer money may not be used for an illegal genocide in violation of the Genocide Convention to disperse Ebola chemtrail fallout and all the other shit. To take away the sunshine, to make people depressed, make them kill themselves. Their satanic ritual abuse is continuing. So I certainly don't expect any help from the medical cartel. Let me link this and then I can look up the other thing. Universalpeace.edublogs.org has a link, several links. How to prevent World War III and create universal peace for everybody. About reversed active measures. 1. Moralization. 2. Stabilization. 3. Generate an economic surge. 4. Demilitarization, opposite of normalization, as when the tanks roll in. But the thing I wanted to read was medical errors, a leading cause of death, and prescription drugs, leading killer in USA. So, when you go to the hospital, you have to watch out that you don't make the risk that you die even bigger rather than smaller. That's the idea, basically. And they want you to become sick so that you have to buy more drugs and get more treatment. They make money of sick people, not of cured people. universalpeacenow.blogspot.com. So you can find that link also via universalpeace.edublogs.org to universalpeacenow.blogspot.com. Medical errors, a leading cause of death. Medical errors, a leading cause of death. Prescription drugs, leading killer in USA. And those are scientific studies that have been done. And often people tend to leave these two out of their top 10 of causes of death, because the Jesuit pedophiles are using these methods to depopulate the earth in violation of the Genocide Convention. Let's visit that website. So I'm trying to help you all and they are attempting to kill you all. You can see that now, you understand that now. Medical errors, a leading cause of death. On universalpeacenow.blogspot.nl we read, one of the several conspiracies hatched out against the American peoples is the design to poison the entire populace, especially the children. Via this poisoning, 3 things will occur. 1. Hospital visits furthering the sales of the order's pharmaceutical petroleum-based medications, which in turn further sickens the, quote, patients, unquote. 2. Hospital admissions that will in turn administer the order's allopathic, quote, unholy trinity, unquote, of, quote, cutting, surgery, burning, radiation, and poisoning, drugging, unquote, further enriching the Black Pope's medical monopolies while sickening the population in violation of the Genocide Convention. 3. Untimely death, which is in fact, quote, murder by stealth, unquote. That's from VaticanAssassins.org, which doesn't exist anymore at the moment. Anyway, there are people that have backups of stuff. And medical errors, a leading cause of death. The Journal of the American Medical Association has established that a prescription drugs leading killer in USA, conducted at the University of Toronto. Revealed that pharmaceutical drugs kill more people every year than are killed in traffic accidents. So chemicals have a synergistic effect with cancer-causing electromagnetic radiation, and Michael Jackson was tortured to death with directed energy weapons. Because he said he slept with children doesn't mean that he said he had sex with children, and that would not even have been enough to give him the death penalty. So people that did that are guilty of a severe crime, and it was monitored by the Cosmos 2450 satellite with a K from K. Okay, basically. So they use a combination of chemical cancer-causing drugs, such as propofol, with directed energy weapon attacks to kill the patient, which they've also done to my mother, but it was mainly done with directed energy weapon attacks, dental torture, the other types of torture. So they're mainly using HAARP in two modes. One is the pulsed energy projectile mode, and the other one is the active denial system mode. PEP is used to cause severe pain by stimulating the nerve directly, and active denial system, ADS, is used to burn the victim's skin in reality, and that's a really painful sensation, and they do it to the extent that the skin comes off of the victims, and that may be why they shave their heads. For example, Klokkenluider Online, Micha Kat, and others that expose them are tortured by these Satanists, so that they may have to shave their head and stuff like that. So that's done in ADS mode, and that can manifest as a ringing in the head, and if they burn your scrotum or other body parts, then you may also hear that frequency, loud ringing in the head. It's all part of the satanic ritual abuse. They've tortured my mother to death, and they're illegally attempting to depopulate the earth in violation of the Genocide Convention with the taxpayer money. And people are brain controlled, so if they nod their head and stuff, that can be in relation to a totally different idea. The computer has already brain mapped them, so it knows how to get the reaction of the people it wants to. But if we stay proactive and compare every idea we have to the opposite next idea, then we will get much better ideas, and we'll be able to create a perfect non-fictional utopian society much faster than if we let ourselves be led by the Satanists into our death, instead of becoming eternal and creating a perfect society rather than a society of the perfect, which does not exclude one another. So this is a good recording, 35 minutes, it's still doable. So I might upload this for all y'all. I wish you all universal peace. I realize that the people that listen to this are usually not the torturers. Most people, 99% or more, are not the torturers with directed energy weapons. So beware that they cannot have tortured you. The torture is not done with microwaves, with satellites, cancer cell phone towers, with cancer tetra, or ground wave emergency network, not done with ultrasound, and all the other things not done by your neighbor with a device in his home, but it's done with HAARP based in Alaska, because when people are tortured so severely, then of course they might go, if the machine would be standing in the US or in Europe, they'd go there and destroy it. So that's why they've based it in Alaska. And there's a fake facility open to the public in Gakona, open every 6 years because they're Satanists. And the real location is in Poker Flats, according to what we read online. So all this great, truthful, accurate information, these facts, are online, and it's what other people wrote. So most of it is not what I wrote. I tried to put two and two together and make something out of it for the people. And well, I think I've succeeded to a certain extent, and there are also people within the organization that are helping me, that can see that if they don't do the right thing, they will be killed. So the things I say are not my opinion, but usually the opinion of professionals and people in organizations such as the Universal Peace Federation and things, organizations that exist to help us rather than kill us all, with some others that have to convene behind closed doors, have planned with soft kill and slow kill methods. So as all universal peace, I think we can make some sunshine. We already had some sunshine, and but I just have to lighten up a little bit, get some breakfast and relax. Ah, the harp fart. Very clearly audible in this recording. And they can make it sound any way they want to by controlling muscle movements. So basically it could be a fart of Dr. Kissinger or one of the other people that have planned genocide. Normally my farts don't sound this way. Normally I puff so that you don't hear it at all. And normally I don't fart, but they can make farts when they want to in people's stomach. And they can do remote surgery and lots of things people wouldn't believe because they're brain controlled. And I have to warn that all people that talk about this directed energy weapon torture are usually labeled paranoid, schizophrenics and psychotic idiots. They're labeled mentally ill. You can see in the DSM-4 that it was created for this purpose, to be able to eliminate them all with their directed energy weapon with slow kill and soft kill methods, especially with HARP, which is untraceable with scalar waves that travel through any materials known to man, which you can only shield with a Tesla plasma dome. So cage of Faraday and mu metal, I've tested it all. It doesn't hold back the waves at all. Only a grounded spherical orb, a Van de Graaff generator, can partially deflect the beam, and then you would feel the beam also on other body parts, which you can then use to determine the direction of the beam. I discovered this by accident, so I'm one of the few people, perhaps the only person on Earth that is not in the agency, that knows with 100% certainty they've used HARP or another ionospheric heater in that direction, so it is quite hard to determine the exact direction in reality. So there are other ionospheric heaters, but I'm like 99% certain it was HARP and not IceCat or another ionospheric heater. I've determined the direction quite accurately with the Van de Graaff generator, and there are many people that claim that the torture was done with HARP. They've killed Chavez and Steve Jobs with HARP by inducing cancer. And of course they've made earthquakes, and there are people that claim that people with HARP are terrorists, Rockefellers and other Satanists that want to depopulate the earth in violation of the Genocide Convention. So they have to be caught for the things they've already done. It's not about what they want to do, but it's about the illegal things they've done, such as demolishing the WTC order given by Peter Hans Golfenbach. And I don't believe that the Rockefellers' bankers are the ones pulling the strings of the people with HARP. But perhaps they have infiltrated the government, and if you offer them millions of dollars, then perhaps they'd kill anyone you'd want to. Anyway, there's at least one criminal that has been torturing me, and that criminal with HARP is torturing me. They've tortured my mother to death. They're also torturing my father with restless legs, to be able to pump him full of chemical cancer-causing drugs, which turn him into a compulsive gambler according to the leaflet that comes with it, with pergolide against restless legs. And the other medicine nearly killed him in reality. So if I wouldn't have had that precognitive vision about it, he probably would have been dead. So I hope whoever is giving me precognitive visions, probably I do it myself. I did it to myself with a self-hypnosis. In that way I saved my life several times already, so I hope others can also get precognitive visions. Only the people that are helping to create universal peace and make us all eternal and bestow maximum fulfillment upon themselves and everybody else and all animals too, get more precognitive visions, and the others don't because of my eternal hypnosis. So it's in your own benefit. That's what everybody wants, except for a couple of loonies perhaps, or people that understand that if they go against it, then the idea is just repeated basically. And otherwise they'd say, yeah, we agree, and then nobody would do anything about it. And so looking for a permanent cure against aging. With time travel equipment I would only use the saucers basically, not earth-based things. We don't want to spin off axis or explode. Safety first. And astragalus root power, there is another thing people can take. Telomerase. To grow younger physically. And the torture at the moment manifests as hurting my back in reality. You can also hear it sometimes, so they're displacing joints in the body of the victims. For example, hurting their kneecaps, hurting the back, lower back of the person. I recently read about something with somebody, something that covered person with back pain. Anyway, that's one of the new methods to torture people. And it makes sound, special sound. That type of sound basically. Bones clicking into one another. There is a special name for it. Perhaps I can look it up later. Anyway, that's what they're doing with HAARP. One who knows of evidence must testify, Torah Mednen, because they're religious. And I think I'm helping the Jesuits as well, so I make clear that I don't know if the torture is somebody within their group or without, not within the group of the Jesuits or the Satanists. But it's clearly a loony, the person that's torturing me. And they might not control the centipedes. So the torturer has basically been claiming that things that go wrong have gone wrong because of him, basically, that he makes them go wrong to make himself appear to be a deity or something like that. But in the hospital in the UMC, that person showed me he controlled the maxillipads of the centipedes, the teeth that they use to bite into the skin of the victim, basically, to clamp itself into the intestinal wall also. Those are called maxillipads. So then it is clear that they control these centipedes, and they've also tortured my mother to death because she was a Protestant Christian in violation of the Genocide Convention. It is in violation of the Genocide Convention to kill all Protestant Christians, like my mother. And their extreme oath, proving that they've sworn to kill them all, is in also found in the Library of Congress. You can also Google Extreme Oath Jesuits, then you'll find that. So, universecreator.weebly.com universecreator.weebly.com has more about their cannibalism, the horrible atrocities the Jesuits have already committed, and their history forgery and stuff. Universal Peace now, Universal Peace, Jimdo.com, universalpeace.jimdo.com. So after Netanyahu preempts you are all gone in 2 minutes basically, and they've already induced cancer in me with HAARP, and then they also pretend that the people in the hospital have cured me, which they have not. It's done with HAARP in reality, and I think they're re-inducing cancer. And that's one of the ways they shut up people. They've also killed the Apple frontman Steve Jobs and Hugo Chavez with cancer. And millions of other people, they do that with HAARP. And on me they're using a type of B-cell lymphoma. They've also tortured my mother to death, so I know what I'm talking about. And together they're less than 1% of the world's population, and if we don't unite and take action against the creeps that have planned a third world war, the trolls, the Jesuit pedophiles, then we're all gone soon, so we have no fucking choice. Universal Peace now, Universal Peace, Jimdo.com. We demand Universal Peace now for the taxpayers. Bye bye, pighead. And I mean the torture with that, not you all. The quantum computer of the pedo-psycho Jesuits that have planned the Third World War is programmed to make me fart when I'm on the toilet, and also in the morning to make my eyes tear, which it may do to millions of people, actually everybody that's not a pedo-psycho Jesuit, and everybody has their own program, and they're trying to ridicule the truth in reality. So they've programmed the beast computers, which are real. The closest one you can check is in the former EU building in Brussels. And so are the FEMA concentration death camps, which are all over the US and in Hawaii, of which there is a map on Google Maps in reality. And whatever, that's basically what I wanted to say. They're programmed to eliminate 99% of the world's population. So they're not going to stop until the world war has been created. They use problem, reaction, solution. So their idea is first make the Jesuit pedophiles' fourth world war. And all speech errors are also made with synthetic telepathy in reality, and they're going to eliminate you as well. And themselves, the Earth can spin off axis. And because they have demolished the WTC with thermate, a patented form of thermite, and people inside their organization know this, basically there is no escape for them, and they may want to take everybody along for the ride, kill everybody and let the Earth spin off axis. So you have to replace those people with competent, normal people before they create their Third World War. And everybody is brain controlled. They send ideas in your own inner voice again. Synthetic telepathy is real. And so is silent sound technology to send ideas in your own inner voice, also used to make the Iraqi people surrender themselves, and they control your emotions. So we can think of the opposite next idea at any time, and we can make sure that we're not doing things based on our emotions, only based on logic. Because otherwise we can end up in jail, and then chances that we prevent the world war become even smaller. Okay. So I've already explained they are insane, and they've planned a Third World War, population reduction in violation of the Genocide Convention. They've locked me up on my birthday once without food. Another time, people have thrown stones at me and my father. And then they put me in jail instead of the stone throwers, which I captured on video. So they're totally nuts. And the police are satanically controlled by people such as Michael Aquino of the NSA with synthetic telepathy. And that's why they do these things. They make them do it with cancer-causing tetra by controlling their emotions and their brainwaves. So they're remotely controlled zombies like the Psychobama-troll. They are all remotely controlled zombies in reality, controlled with synthetic telepathy. And of course it's illegal to commit genocide. It's worse than murder of one person, because it's murder of 7 billion people. And of course the Psychobama-troll is guilty of treason. He granted legal immunity to companies that shipped out deadly products 3 times. Baxter, a pharmaceutical company, that shipped out deadly products 3 times instead of a bona fide pharmaceutical company. And of course Monsanto, to spread cancer-causing barium. Monsanto, creators of aluminum barium resistant seed, to depopulate the earth and to get enough barium in your bloodstream and in your brain to be able to brain control you remotely like zombies, which is the goal of the NSA-Satanists that have tortured my mother to death with HAARP, to eliminate you in the Third World War. And then after that Third World War, they will say, we will need to prevent this, never again. To prevent a 4th World War, we must create a new world order. And they have no intention of doing that now, because they want to first depopulate, reduce the world's population to 500 million Georgia Guidestones, or even lower. Their genocidal book quotes are on universalpeace.jimdo.com. To create a satanic new world order. That's the goal of the Vatican pedos, the Jesuit pedophiles that have tortured my mother to death with HAARP, that I think are going away soon, together with all the groups they have created to give the illusion that they're numerous. They are less than 1% of the world's population. So Bilderberg, the Freemasons, such as the Masonic Breivik, and all their other groups together, the CFR, Trilateral Commission, the Jesuits themselves and the Knights of Blah Blah, are together less than 1% of the world's population, and these are illegal groups and societies made for the purpose of depopulating the earth and playing out against each other. One example of this is that the Jesuits finance the KKK and the Black Panthers. All speech errors on this recording are made with synthetic telepathy, and to do this they have entrained my brain. You can hear that clicking sound when I'm turning around my brain. If I turn around my brain, then you can hear a clicking sound caused by the illegal entrainment they have done, because they don't like a leak, basically. Somebody that reads on the Jesuit pedophiles that have demolished the WTC to create their Third World War with their attack on Iran. So they hate the truth more than anything else. So the people in your heads pretending to be gods and whatever you believe in, Satan or aliens, are in fact satanic trolls that have planned to kill you all, that say anything to control your behavior, and not to get caught themselves. They blame other innocent people, if they can. For example, the people that exposed them, so they are put in jail, instead of the people that really did it, that are going to eliminate you all. And also another thing they've done is release serial killers, so they can help with their upcoming genocide. Alex Jones also covered this, because according to some he is controlled opposition, according to others he is real resistance. And resistance to the resistance is futile. If resistance is futile, recovery begins with non-compliance. Remember, opposite next idea. Universal peace now. We demand universal peace now for the taxpayers that have paid to be saved by the government and not to be exterminated in FEMA concentration death camps. Universal peace, Jimdo.com. Universalpeace.jimdo.com. Greetings, superior beings, greetings, supreme beings. So I'm using one who knows of evidence must testify, but watch out, because the pedo-psycho-Jesuits control the courts. They've planned 3 world wars, which I doubt. So they have an open false world peace policy, and recently, of course, we know Netanyahu, the Jesuit Netanyahu, made a threat to Iran, preemptive strikes on Iran threat in his Yom Kippur speech, which most people might not even know about, to create his Jesuit pedophile masters world war, their 3rd world war already, to reduce the world's population, and they're using problem reaction solution like I've explained. So that was another point I wanted to make. Recovery begins with non-compliers, do not follow legal orders, and so other steps must be taken because they control the courts in reality. So then there's no other way to prevent the world war and to get to the people that really demolished the WTC with thermite, a pendant form of thermate. So then we have to think about other ways. There are infinite other ways to prevent their planned world war and create universal peace is my goal. To prevent their genocide and not necessarily to arrest or punish the people that did it. Universal peace now, universal peace. Jimdo.com, we demand universal peace for the taxpayers that have paid to be saved by the government, not to be exterminated, with cancer causing barium dispersed in Ebola chemtrail fallout, with GMO food as a weapon, and with numerous other depopulation techniques. I have listed the slow kill and soft kill methods of the Bilderberg trolls, such as Dr. Kissinger with his famous book quote on universalpeace.jimdo.com, proving he has incited to commit genocide together with numerous other people. Some of them are famous. Universal peace now, universal peace, Jimdo.com.